What's up everyone, back right on the beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another collaboration beer. This time between the Burial Beer Company, and they are headquartered in Asheville, North Carolina, and the Trillium Brewing Company, and they are headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts, and this is their Some Kind of Spectacle Unbeknownst to You. So this is a West Coast-style IPA that comes in at 6.8% alcohol by volume, 60 IBUs at the time of review. This can is just over 6 weeks old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Curtis, for this beer. So huge thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that Curtis sent my way, and he sent me 10 beers in total, 9 of which were from Burial, and this is one of the 9. And it's interesting because this is a collab between Burial and Trillium, and they're collabing on a West Coast style IPA. Now, listen, I love me some Trillium, but Trillium is known for hazies and New England style IPA, so it's kind of weird they're collabing on a West Coast style IPA, but you know what? I'm here for it. So the little spiel here on the side of the label that I will read, it says, an altar of unspoken truths, a fractured symphony of visceral beauty, revealing itself only to those who dare to look into the beyond, chasing the shimmer that so few seek. A West Coast style IPA crafted with the minds at Trillium Brewing Company. Double dry hopped with Mosaic Hyperboost, Mosaic T90, Simcoe and Zumo. Never heard of Zumo hops. I can't say I've ever reviewed one or even had one with Zumo hops. Maybe I have, but nope. And on the bottom of the can it says, "Can you see it?" Yep. What is it? Faith no more? I don't know. Anyway, going off on a tangent. Let's get this into the glass, see what we got going on here. So, got another West Coast style IPA, and that is clear as can be. And Burial's known for some West Coast deliciousness. So, and I also didn't even show you the can, which I always show at the end and whatnot. But again, this is just killer artwork from Burial. Just absolutely fantastic stuff, as always. It's expected. So, how does that pour out? Well, it pours out crystal clear. You probably see my ugly mug through it. Yep. Yeah, that has that beautiful golden color to it. It's crystal clear. You can see my hand through it, at least some parts of it. It had about a finger of this off-white colored head. Looks, somewhat creamy, somewhat soap sudsy, but the clarity is true to roof. Hold it up to light. But yeah, you're seeing what I'm seeing as far as the camera is concerned, which is always nice to know. Let's get a dose. Now, again, this is just over 6 weeks old, so not super duper fresh, but I think Curtis had this one the last couple of weeks, and he said it was drinking extremely well. So I'm going to take his word for it. The nose, however, I can tell you right from the get-go, not super over the top. I'm getting that like candied red berry that I sometimes get from Mosaic, sometimes, candied blueberry. Shout out to Joe over at Joe's Arcade recently when he's reviewed some West Coast IPAs. He said a couple of his viewers have mentioned him before, like the difference they can see from like a new school West Coast IPA and old school is that usually they get like some kind of candied fruit quality to the new school IPAs that are West Coast. And I can see that. I don't necessarily always get candied, but I get more of a fruit explosion from the hops. And usually they're in that stone fruit, tropical, can be berry, candied to some degree. But that's the biggest difference I see between the new school West Coast and the old school, is that more of that fruit explosion, less of that like, caramel kind of like white bread, more malt leaning type of beer. And in this one, yeah, I'm getting like, again, candied berry, a nice like pineapple, getting lemon lime, believe it or not. There's no Motueka. Maybe that's the Zumo. I don't know. There is this nice dank kind of like resinous pine quality. Simcoe's in here. It's not quite giving me the caddy vibes, but it's definitely dank. A little bit of that white bread you get from the malt. Touch of a zesty kind of orange peel. Orange rind. Yeah, it smells really nice. It does smell a bit faded, though. So, Curtis, when you watch this review, I'll be curious to see what you think as far as the nose goes. He sent me this beer mail less than 2 weeks ago, so I'm trying to get to all the hop-forward stuff as quick as possible. But I will say that this one, it's not an explosive nose. Like, the aromatics aren't through the roof, but it's very nice for what it is. I'm hoping the taste has a little bit more pungency to it. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Curtis. Okay, the taste is nice. I love it. I think I am officially, I don't want to officially say anything like, I'm going to announce, who cares? It's a fucking beer reviewing channel on YouTube. Nobody gives a shit, Joe. But I think at this point, if they're not on a level playing field for me, equal footing, I think West Coast-style IPAs have maybe jumped over hazies for me as far as what I kind of want nowadays. I just love, and I never used to. If you go back to my reviews 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, you will see me saying that I don't love super dry beers. I don't like a huge pronounced bitterness. My palate has changed immensely just over the course of the years reviewing here on YouTube. This finishes with a bone dry finish, and it has a moderate bitterness, which is exactly what I'm looking for out of this style and what the style kind of dictates. Body mouthfeel. 6.8%, it's medium body, it's perfect. The mouthfeel is that crisp, kind of clean nature you get from West Coast IPAs. Has a nice spritzy kind of carbonation, approaching moderate, but not overwhelming. Pretty smooth on the second half going down. So body and mouthfeel are really nice. The taste is definitely more intense than the aroma. Yeah, for sure. Forefront, white bread, just a little bit. Not toasted or anything, just plain, freshly baked white bread. Dives underneath the palate, omnipresent. And some people have asked me what that means. It means that I get it right at the forefront, and it's with me throughout the palate. But all the hop characters kind of ride on top of it. So it's just kind of showcasing the hops. But it's still there. Like, after each sip and whatnot, I still get a little bit of breadiness, but the hops are the star of the show. And right at the forefront, it's zippy, it's zesty, orange, lemon zest, maybe even, dare I say, a tangelo. Something in that realm. It has a juiciness to it, but it's more of like a zesty, rindy, pithy bitterness from the perceived citrus fruit, because there is no citrus fruit in here. It's just coming from the hops. Midway through the palate, I get a pop of like a ripened peach, maybe mango, touch of like a pineapple. And then on the finish, it has this nice candied red berry, and I'd say more of like a candied, like a candied mixed red berry. So, your raspberries, your strawberries, and whatever other red berries you want to throw in there. It's more candied and sweet, but then it just transitions in this super dry, moderately bitter, resinous pine quality with a touch of dankness. So again, finish is quite dry. It's moderately bitter. This is balanced to some degree because there is a lot of sweet goodness at the forefront. However, it does lean more dry and bitter, which I think most people are looking for out of this style. 6.8%, you really can't tell. Maybe an ever so slight warming into the chest, but nothing really all that noticeable. I'm pouring the rest of this in because this is a very crushable and enjoyable beer. And like I said, very clean too. Like, as I'm talking to you right now too, like, there is just maybe an ever so slight lingering hop bitterness. But for the most part, like, I just want to go back in for a sip because it has that dry, lingering finish. And I kind of want to get it to go away. So I'll go back for another sip. And, 5 to 10 seconds later, I want to go back for another sip. I know it sounds crazy, but this is a moreish beer. Like, I want more of it. And every single sip, I just want another sip of it. So really well done. Not amazing, not mind-blowing. I'm drinking this a couple days after. I want to say I'm drinking this one like, I don't know, a week or less after I drank the Mastheads, their IPA for Aliens, which was a bronze medal winner at the 2024 Great American Beer Fest. That was a bit fresher, 2.5 weeks. This is, just over 6 weeks. That beer is definitely better than this one, but, you're comparing beers that are a difference of a whole month in age, but this is still really nice. I gave that a 4.45, so I'm going to give this one probably about a quarter point less, but it's still really nice. So some kind of spectacle, unbeknownst to you, from Burial and Trillium. I'm going to give this a very solid and I think appropriate 4.2 out of 5, so a low 4.25. 4.2 for sure. Definitely a good beer, and the label art is absolutely fantastic. Price point availability, $19 a 4-pack, which seems to be the going rate for a lot of their beers on their website, I see. So, less than $20 a 4-pack. I would like to see this more in the $18 realm, but we're talking about $1, maybe even $17. It is only 6.8%, it's a West Coast IPA, so it's a bit pricey. But at the same time, I give it 4.2, so paying, essentially what is what? $4.75 a can, not terrible. And if this let's say Burial got distribution and this showed up here and I never had it before, would I pay $20 a 4-pack? Yeah, I would easily pay it to try it out. So I can't say too much negatively about too much negative stuff about this beer in general. Availability, I don't know with Burial outside of you can get it off of their website and get it shipped to your home if you're in one of the states that they ship to. Here in New York State, they actually ship. But Curtis was not waiting for me to have them shipped. He's like, you know what? I'm placing an order. I'm going to send Joe some stuff. So really cool of him. But if you're in New York State and you ever want to ship anything from Burial, you can do so. And I think it was Curtis and Wes, another viewer of the channel, good friend of mine. They both said that they sent out like codes for like free shipping or like $10 flat shipping or things of that nature. So definitely worth checking that out if you want to get Burial in your neck of the woods. As far as like their distro, I'm unclear on that. I really don't know. But if you do get Burial, you might have seen this one. I love the label art of pretty much all their beers. The liquid inside is typically just as good. And this is a really nice beer from them. I think probably my least favorite so far. That's a little bit better than that Pale Ale. For sure. That Pale Ale is more like an old school American with a little bit of West Coast kind of vibes and a little bit of new school vibes, but this is better than that. The Hazy I reviewed recently was better than this. I have one more from them that Curtis said as far as hop forward beers go, so we'll see how that one is. Then I have a bunch of lagers, which I can't wait to get into, and then a bunch of pasty. My mind's racing a mile a minute. I'm saying things that are incorrect coming out of my mouthpiece. I have one pastry stout that he sent me, which will probably be the last one I review. So if you've had this one before, please post it in the comments section. Like I said, 6.8%, maybe a little warm in your chest, nothing much. This is definitely a more dry and bitter leaning West Coast IPA. This is what I'd say is in the new school realm as opposed to old school, lighter on the malt character, definitely that candied kind of fruit vibe, but still has a soul of an old school West Coast IPA. So this would be for somebody like the aforementioned Joe, or even another good friend of mine, viewer of the channel, Bud. I think they would both really appreciate and love this beer. So anyway, I'm going to shut this one down. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Thanks again to Curtis. Till the next one, cheers.